Hey guys, it's your girl, the Fly VJ Victoria, and I'm back with another video. I know it's been a minute since I posted my last video, but hey, new year, new me. I'm gonna be more consistent this year and come back with more videos and more tips and tricks to help everyone prepare for traveling. In this video, we are going to discuss what to expect while traveling right now. So if you have an upcoming trip or you travel maybe within the past couple weeks, past couple days, and weren't really sure what to expect, or you're going to be traveling in the next couple days, weeks, whatever, and you don't really know what to expect, this is the video for you. We're going to go over all the little tips that's going on right now to help you better be prepared for traveling. One thing I've noticed is people are very underprepared when it comes to traveling right now. Like, people aren't quite sure what the requirements are when it comes to flying or traveling through the airport, or what's really going on, what are the rules. So with that being said, and not a lot of information being out there for people to find to kind of prepare themselves, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys some tips, couple little tricks to help you be better prepared when traveling right now at this time through the airport. Pandemic happened and basically everyone stopped flying, of course, because everything was closed. But now that things are opening back up, people are starting to fly again and starting to travel again, which is great. You know, traveling and flying, all that stuff is fun. It gets you to where you need to go quicker. So I get it. I understand why people are starting to travel again, especially considering that things are opening back up. But the issue that I'm having with it is people are not prepared. It's like people don't really know what to expect when it comes to traveling in an airport right now, and it shows. It's just like there's not enough information out there or something, because when I say people are showing up just like with blinders on, they just don't understand what's going on. That is what's really happening. And I feel like that's kind of why all of this negativity is being shown through the media when it comes to flying. It's like people don't know what to expect, so they're just showing up to the airport or showing up on these trips kind of like whatever. And then you have the crew, which is overly prepared, and it's meshing, and that's what's causing that like friction between people traveling or passengers and employees or whatever. So this video is going to help you guys be prepared for your next trip. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Go ahead and hit the bell. Subscribe so that you can catch all of my upcoming videos about traveling and keeping you guys prepared and keep you guys updated. My number one thing I want to address in this video that I think will really help people be prepared for their next trip and help their next trip go by smooth is the whole federal mask mandate. Right now, all airports and all airlines are following what is called a federal mask mandate. This is not necessarily the company's decision, and this is not necessarily like a personal attack on passengers. This is something the Federal Aviation Association has decided needs to happen in order to keep the flight crew healthy and safe, as well as the people that are traveling on whatever specific airline. With that being said, what that means is a mask is required. You have to wear a mask. It has to be worn throughout the airport, and it has to be worn on the aircraft the entire time, unless you are like actively eating or drinking. So that means if you're not like physically shoving food or a liquid in your mouth to eat or drink, you have to have your mask on. And if you are eating or drinking, they really want you to replace your mask over your nose and mouth in between your bites and sips. I feel like this is really important right now because people are showing up to the airport any kind of way. They feel like just because their state or their city or their county or whatever is not making the mask a mandate, or they're not forcing the mask rules, that applies in the airport as well. No, It doesn't. It does not apply in the airport. Like, whatever goes on outside that airport is what's going on outside that airport. Whatever goes on inside the airport is their own personal thing. So people really need to kind of have this in their mind before stepping in the airport or stepping into the aircraft. They just kind of need to have in their mind like, hey, I'm going to have to wear this mask the entire time I'm here. And I think if people kind of get that in their minds prior to traveling, it's not as big as a deal. It's not that big of a deal once it actually comes to the travel day. I know you guys see on the news and on social media, all these like unnecessary fights are happening because people aren't wanting to wear their masks. Meanwhile, the flight crew or their workers are enforcing this rule. Understand, these are not the workers' rules. They don't choose to make you guys wear the mask. This is something the company has told them that they have to enforce. And so they're doing their best job to make sure that they're enforcing that. That way, everyone's healthy and everyone's safe, and we can actually continue to travel, and we don't have to go into another lockdown like we had to go into about a year and a half ago. So just keep that in mind. Like, the mask thing is mandatory. You got to wear your mask. It's like, don't show up to the airport trying to be this Barney baddie and do what you want to do and not follow the rules and all that other stuff. Because it's like, if you're just going to do that, you just don't fly right now. Because right now in this era, wearing masks is a mandate. It is mandatory. So just kind of keep that in mind, kind of get that wrapped up in your brain, you know, kind of prepare yourself for that. If you do have an upcoming trip coming up, or you do have some travel plans in the near future, please just don't be that person and just wear your mask. You know, everyone has to. Also, another thing that's happening in the industry right now that people are not prepared for, and it shows, is the lack of workers. I mean, it's everywhere. Everywhere you go, help is wanted. I mean, from restaurants, grocery stores, I mean, everyone is understaffed right now and everyone needs help, and that is including with the airlines. So because the lack of staff that is happening right now, things are delayed. Flights are delayed. Flights are getting canceled. Things like that are happening right now in the industry due to the lack of people that are willing to work. So just be prepared for that. If you're traveling right now during this pandemic, be ready for delays. Be ready for a large amount of cancellations. Just kind of have a backup plan. Kind of come prepared and come with that mindset like, oh my gosh, you know, my flight might be delayed, or oh my gosh, my flight actually might get canceled. And then that way, if it does happen, you're not overly angry and upset and don't have a backup plan and don't have anything to go off of. And now you're just in this really, really rough situation. Like, just be prepared, because right now things are abnormal, I would say, and they aren't necessarily running as smooth as I feel like they used to. I don't know how long that's going to be. I guess when people decide to start going back to work, things will change. Until then, be prepared. Also, with that being said, I would say a lot of people are not prepared as far as having their items with them. If your flight gets delayed or you don't make it to your destination, you know, you have to think about those bags that you guys are checking. Who knows where they might end up? They might make it or they might not as well. So just make sure you have some type of carry-on bag with items in it that you can survive off of in case something happens where you have to spend a night in a hotel or you have to spend the night somewhere where you weren't expecting to stay the night. Make sure you have a carry-on bag with extra pair of underwear, socks, toothbrush, toothpaste, clothing. Like, just don't show up right now not prepared as far. Also, a lot of airports right now are doing construction. So airports are doing construction. Like, seriously, LAX has construction. They just built a new international terminal. Nashville has renovations going on. Denver has renovations going on. I think Salt Lake City has renovations going on. All these bigger cities and these airports have renovations going on. So be prepared for that. You might have to travel a little further to a gate than you would normally do to constructions, or certain things might be blocked off and you can't really get to the departures or the arrivals like you normally could because of the construction. So be prepared and show up a little bit early. That way you can get to where you need to get to on time and you're prepared just in case something does change within your flight. So just make sure you're aware that a lot of airports right now are doing construction. So you shouldn't be running behind. Not right now, you shouldn't. This is not the time to be running behind. TSA is not even staffed the way they should be staffed. So you can't even move through security like you normally used to. Usually security used to go by somewhat fast, but now it's like lines are long. People are waiting. People are waiting hours and hours and hours to get through security to get to their gate. So just make sure you are ahead of time and not running behind time. Like, another thing that I'm noticing is since people haven't traveled since the pandemic, they think that airlines are still doing the same things that they were doing prior to the pandemic, where that's not necessarily the case. Airlines aren't serving like they used to. Before the pandemic, you know, there were snacks, you could get several drinks, you could probably maybe even purchase items. Well, right now, depending on which carrier you're flying on, they still might be in pandemic mode and doing limited service or modified service. So with that being said, make sure you are prepared. Like, make sure you have a water bottle where you can fill your water bottle up at the water fountain, just in case maybe that airline isn't serving drinks during that flight. Make sure you have extra snacks on you. Make sure you have food on you, because also, since the airlines within themselves are doing a modified service, the airport is doing a modified service. Businesses are still closed down. Food places are closing early. Stores and food places that would normally be open throughout the airport aren't open anymore. Like, there is still a pandemic going on, and it still shows when it comes to traveling. So just make sure you're prepared. You normally could go into the airport, there'd be a ton of stores and restaurants open, and they'll be open all night. Where now, half of them are still closed down, and if they are open, they're closing early. So if you have a flight that gets in late, make sure you have something to eat or drink, because more than likely restaurants and businesses are going to be closed. So don't show up to the airport thinking you're about to just chill and drink and eat like you used to and all this other stuff, where in reality, that's not the case. Like, things are still closed down. Well, guys, I hope this video helped at least a little bit with your next, travel plans or your next vacation. Maybe this can help you be better prepared. Once again, if you haven't already, make sure you please subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to like this video if you felt like it helped. Also, don't forget to follow me on other platforms, social media platforms. It feels good to be back. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be filming again. Once again, guys, I hope this video helped you out. Hope you did some justice. Maybe help you better prepare for your next vacation or your next time you're going to be in the airport traveling. This is your girl, the 5EJ Victoria. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, hit the bell, all that fun stuff. Share. See you guys soon.